Today's video about psoriasis and can it be cured, and also other autoimmune diseases. What can we do with it? Because normally the medical professionals consider autoimmune diseases is incurable, so it is chronic and incurable diseases. So first I want to encourage you to download presentation because it has links, and you can click and get into details on the link, and also text with the links, and even my the sound of the video, so you can listen my voice separate from presentation. So again, the topic of today's video is about psoriasis and fungal diseases of the skin and nails. Yes, I remember my father suffering for years with what doctors identified as nail fungus. It was not. Also, as far as I remember from the clinical symptoms, my father didn't suffer from the nail fungus, but from psoriasis of the toenails. And of course, antifungal drugs didn't help him at all. So this only shows the normal qualification of the medical professionals, that they just cannot give the diagnosis. They cannot distinguish the psoriasis and from fungus. And the fungus, why they think fungus? They make analysis, and they look in microscope and see some spores of the fungus, and they say, oh yes, this is fungus. But fungus is a consequence of the psoriasis. It develops later on. You can cure fungus very easy, relatively easy, with some alcohol, for example, but to cure psoriasis there is no medication. Okay, well, let's go in it. And of course, then again, I myself, when I moved to Thailand, was buying and eating a lot of fruits and vegetables in an attempt to get more vitamins, because I also was hypnotized and zombified with this propaganda that we have to eat as much as possible fruit and vegetables, and here it is very cheap, and then I was doing it so much. And then also base of the traditional diet in Thailand is boiled rice and noodles, as well as pot bread. And the result of the following this original Thai diet was the outbreak of severe psoriasis on my arms and the legs, and then on toenails. This problem diminished with elimination of carbohydrates from my diet and the transition to the ketogenic diet, when I was still eating a lot of salads with green vegetables. And only with transition to the carnivore diet, my skin became healthy and clear from psoriasis. And I have already discussed the main reasons for psoriasis development, that this is leaky gut syndrome. In my previous videos I mentioned it. It is a video about weak organic acids, flavonoids and stem cells, and etc. So again, you just cannot imagine how it is, how much suffering if you have psoriasis in the tropical climate, because then to these wounds, to this to the places of psoriasis, many insects are coming and they are eating this skin and put some eggs inside, and or toxins, whatever, I don't know. So it was a lot of suffering. So now I'm clean, I'm fine, but again I want to talk about this that you probably understand it also. So the leaky gut syndrome means the increased permeability of the intestinal walls. In such a case, bacteria and undigested proteins, as well as waste products of a pathogenic microorganism, may enter the bloodstream. And in particular, it relates to histamine and liposaccharides, and which some bacteria produce in the large intestine. The reason for this phenomenon is primarily improper diet and the decrease in acidity of the gastric juice. So look, the reason of the leaky gut syndrome is the toxins which are produced with this bacteria, with this bad bacteria. And please watch my video about the acidity of the gastric juice. And I have already discussed it, so that the only way to improve your health, it is either switch to the strict carnivore diet or practice such a diet where proteins intake is separated in time with carbohydrate intake by an interval of about 5 hours. But actually it is, if people follow vegetarian diet, it is just impossible, because proteins are that always go together with carbohydrates, and then you have this problem with vegetarians almost always. So again, 5-hour interval should be, if you are young enough and if you want to consume both, again, please take care that at least keep this interval if possible. But otherwise, undigested protein enters the large intestine, and the pathogens eat it and release a variety of toxins which cause inflammation. This is the first stage of the leaky gut syndrome, the inflammation of the epithelium layer in the guts, and then next it is the increased permeability of the intestinal walls. And if you consider that in older age we need to consume up to 2 grams of dry protein, even more per kilogram of the body weight, then there is no alternative to the carnivore diet in older age. Some people, I consume up to 1 kilo of meat and other sources of fish and meat a day, and some people eat even more than 2 grams, like 1.5 kilos of meat every day and feel great. So this is how this leaky gut syndrome looks. So if it is healthy guts, then all this epithelium layer they are glued together, they are connected, and there are special proteins which you work like a glue and keep the membranes of this epithelium layer together. And this is only one layer, one cell layer. It is very thin layer, and it works as a filter. So only some small substances like amino acids and fatty acids and glucose can go through the membrane. But if it is inflamed, and then there are some gaps between the epithelium cells, and then through these gaps larger particles can go. It is some bacteria and proteins, undigested proteins and toxins, and these are special liposaccharides which are absolutely toxic. And then even our immune system tries to stop it, try to catch these substances, and but it goes with the bloodstream everywhere, it goes to the joints, it goes to the skin, and then our immune system considers that it has to attack, to destroy these foreign proteins which are not your proteins, and then the immune system attack your joints, bone joints, or attack your skin, and then it results in autoimmune diseases. And the widely advertised and recommended consumption of food rich in dietary fiber, so it is mostly insoluble fiber, leads to constipation and mechanical damage to the colon wall. So it's again, if you eat such diet, then the colon wall will be damaged, and epithelium layer will be damaged, and then also you are getting inflammation, you are getting this problem. And then such a diet includes most fruits and vegetables, whole grain, brain and beans and legumes. Moreover, an excess of insoluble fiber in the diet results in low level of testosterone in the blood of men. Another type of fiber, soluble fiber, it in presence of liquid turns into jelly, which lubricates the wall of the colon and facilitates the excretion of feces. And much of this fiber is found in mushrooms. So mushrooms are not bad. Mushrooms you can consume together with meat, together with carnivore diet. And I used to grow and eat a lot of mushrooms, and it was probably time when I was most healthy here in Thailand. And an adequate substitute for insoluble fiber, but also this soluble fiber, this swelling fiber, Then it is the raw resistant starch. In Europe or northern hemisphere, you can buy potato starch, which is resistant starch. Here in here I buy tapioca starch from tapioca tubers, and it is also resistant starch, almost identical to potato starch. And you have to consume at least 30 grams per day to give this lubrication. And I do it at morning and at evening, because at morning I take some berberine and some supplements, and better to do it not only with water but also with this starch. It helps. And evening I take metformin and berberine, and also again better to take some amount of starch together, not to empty stomach. And some dietary supplements can help to improve gut microflora and reduce gut leakage. This is in particular berberine. Berberine has been used for long in China to treat intestinal infections, so it is also helps. Pardon me. Okay, watch also my video about berberine. It is also very useful. However, mainstream official care, medical care, does not accept the very existence of the leaky gut syndrome. In this, they never suggest dietary changes to treat psoriasis and other autoimmune diseases. So this what is advertised, that you have to consume a lot of food with fibers. And this is all toxic. It is all toxic for you. Stay away from this stuff. And also the seeds and the nuts and legumes, it's toxic. Guys, it is toxic. You will get a lot of problem with your health if you will consume it. And in the leaky gut syndrome, the consumption of food made from flour with high gluten content can lead to the development of autoimmune diseases, because this gluten which is in the flour, it very similar to proteins in our body, but it is yet our immune system recognize it as a foreign protein, when gluten travels with the bloodstream and get absorbed somewhere, like in joints of bones, and then our immune system attack this, try to eliminate this gluten, but together it damages the cells, and it develops the inflammation, because normal reaction of the body to foreign substances like this, it is inflammation. It's our immune system reacts so that it produces inflammation, and then this inflammation attracts macrophages, and macrophages are coming and trying to solve the problem. So in particular, this autoimmune diseases, what it develops? It is psoriasis, it is hives, systemic lupus, arthritis, and the whole group of inflammatory bowel diseases. It's a huge problem. Yeah, I don't mention inflammation of blood vessels, because it is just obvious everywhere. And then all the diseases related to blood vessels are in here. So gluten content in bread and pasta, as well as in malt and beer, can be up to 10–15% by dry weight. Again, I want to tell you that gluten itself can be consumed and can be okay if you don't have inflammation inside of your stomach, inside of your guts, and inside of your colon. And then if you have no inflammation, gluten cannot go inside the bloodstream, it is okay. But if you have this microflora and you have the toxins produced in colon, then you have inflammation, and then you have this leaky gut syndrome. So it is go in steps. First inflammation, second it is the leaky gut syndrome, and only next gluten and other substances will create the problem of autoimmune diseases. Okay, the dry gluten nowadays is added to ice creams, ketchup, and minced meat for thicker texture. So all processed meat and processed food is with this gluten nowadays. And gluten intolerance can be genetically predisposed. People say, again, if it is mostly predisposed to this leaky gut syndrome. But some people, again, have stomach so much not protected that they develop this gluten intolerance, and there is this up to 6% of the world population develops it. But it also develops in older age with the leaky gut syndrome. So if you are getting a leaky gut syndrome in time because of, I will talk about this, what is the reason. And then with prolonged fermentation of the dough, the gluten content decreases, but modern industry uses baking powder instead of yeast for baking bread nowadays. And so if you consume bread, then it is full of this gluten. And additionally, modern high-yielding cereals contain much more gluten than they used to have. And keep in mind that some food have, even it is marked gluten-free, may contain other gluten-related proteins that also cause autoimmune diseases. Some vegetables are very, very toxic in instances, like tomatoes and of this family, the vegetables of this family, all they have contain a lot of toxins which will make autoimmune diseases. This is how these lesions of psoriasis look like on the skin or on the neck. So it is, or it is this lupus, hives, and lupus here. And next is arthritis. This is awful. This is awful. And this, so many old people develop the arthritis, and this is a result of improper diet. Again, and psoriasis is a common inflammatory skin disease. It is like common, so many people have it. And that affects approximately 4% of general population. I think it is underestimated. In Russia, the incidence of psoriasis for 10 years since year 2011 has increased by 11%, and severity of the disease is higher in overweight people. And you can click on the link and to read the details. In ancient history, psoriasis was not widespread and was considered as a manifestation of leprosy, as described in the Bible as well as in other ancient texts. Therefore, people with psoriasis were ostracized by their communities. Psoriasis is not contagious, but it is considered a chronic, incurable disease and can significantly affect the patient quality of life. In particular, this disease not only leads to negative psychosocial consequences, but can be exacerbated by them, leading to a complex and destructive negative cycle that affects both the skin and mental health. So again, it is really a lot of suffering. I remember my father was suffering so much of it, and also it is not nice. Also for me, it was not nice at all. The usual age of the psoriasis onset is from 20 to 35 years, and chronic plaque psoriasis accounts to 90% of cases, and affected areas are the scalp, extensor surface of the limbs. Again, it is here mostly, like here, and genitals and nails. This is how it looks, normally. I used to have it, but from other side of the arm. And with psoriasis, the epidermis cells develop rapidly since their growth cycle regeneration time is only within 7 days, while the normal epidermal regeneration period is in average 28 days, which is 4 times longer. Because of this, the cells of epidermis do not reach full maturity and get abnormal. So incomplete keratinization occurs, and rapid cell division leads to accelerated aging of the affected skin, which can be seen even after psoriasis is cured. And an important parameter for assessing the severity of the disease, it is the percentage of the affected skin area. Then if it is less than 3%, it is like mild psoriasis, 10% up to 10% moderate, and about 10% is really considered severe psoriasis. And traditionally, salicylic acid and aspirin, acetylsalicylic acid, were used topically to treat affected skin areas, and also that some so it is like pardon, controlled skin epilation so performed. It's actually, it can help, but it's again, it is not really a good cure. In ancient times, peat tar ointment was used to treat psoriasis. You can click, and then you see the difference with normal cell, with normal skin and the psoriatic skin. The normal skin, it is not swelling, it is not inflamed. Then this process of this keratinocytes go slowly, and they divide, and they produce this epithelium layer in the skin. But if it is inflamed because of this gluten sits in there, and then immune cells react to it, and they produce this inflammatory, pro-inflammatory substances, and then to attract the macrophages, and macrophages are coming, and they produce even more inflammation, and then also this area has more blood vessels, more capillaries. And here again is the situation that the immune cells, they ignite this process of psoriasis, so they try to cure it, to eliminate the problem, but instead they go this cyclically, and then it goes really problem. But again, the reason is inside your guts, in the epithelium layer, not on the skin. But what people try, and doctors, medical doctors do, they try some ointment and some cream, and it doesn't work, never works. And these comorbidities include psoriatic arthritis. You saw the picture, it is awful. Obesity, non-alcoholic fatty liver, cardiovascular disease, and depression. So you can click again on the link and read the article. And psoriasis is largely associated with metabolic syndrome and inflammatory diseases, especially severe ones. And treatment of psoriasis include, again, I don't give you my advice. I mean, this is what official medical care propose, that treatment, they use topical treatment. It is again wrong. You are trying to treat the wrong side of the disease. It is all inside your guts, but they make topical treatments like vitamin D, corticosteroids, and phototherapy like with UV, and some also very dangerous stuff like immunosuppressants and immunomodulators, which are awful, just awful. Okay, so instead of curing the origin of the disease, they try to reduce to damage your immune system, and then consequences can be lethal. Only recently, experiments in mice have demonstrated that significant relief from psoriasis was achieved by improving the intestinal microflora. Again, it is obvious that microflora inflammation is because of microflora. But why is they doing it? Again, they use probiotics. It's probiotic. It is not. They can sell it. So they can sell it. It is some product, and they can advertise it, and people will spend money on it. And this is why it was the research was done, because you can sell more probiotics. And in principle, yes, it helps. It helps because if you have probiotics which increase the production of short-chain fatty acids in the colon, then the epithelium layer consumes these short-chain fatty acids, and it is very helpful. But as I said, resistant starch doing the same. Resistant starch you take for peanuts, and it works much better. So it is Good bacteria produce short-chain fatty acids from the resistant starch, and it is for peanuts. So again, why to pay money for some probiotics which are expensive, while you can take resistant starch? And these experiments provide more understanding about the causes of the disease and open some possibilities for the treatment of the psoriasis. It's actually, they show some possibilities to make money from it. Yeah, okay, then as always, it is always business, okay? And the possible relationship between the composition of intestinal microflora and development of psoriasis in human is shown in some review publication. Again, it is like connection. Microflora is very popular, and everybody talking about microflora. But again, microflora is very flexible. If you change the diet, microflora will change in a day or two. It changes very quick. So the diet is reason, the diet. And in another review publication, it was noted that some foods like peppers and gluten have been demonstrated to trigger psoriasis. Again, the real triggering, the real origin is inflammation of your epithelium layer, and then it leads to leaky gut syndrome, and then gluten cannot be consumed. Because if your stomach is okay, gluten cannot go to the bloodstream, and you have no... In past, people were eating bread. It was okay. You can eat bread and milk and meat, and it is okay. But in past, but now, not nowadays. Not nowadays. And also other products like fish and olive oil. Yeah, it is a clinical improvement. Again, if you will shift completely to the ketogenic diet, I mean the carnivore diet with fat as a source of energy, then certainly it works. But until now, despite the fact that in many cases it has been shown that carnivore diet contributes to cure of not only psoriasis but other autoimmune diseases, official medical care does not even consider the possibility of changing of the diet and as a condition to treat psoriasis. For example, there was publication, then it was big review, and they concluded that dietary changes alone do not have a significant effect on psoriasis. So it can be additionally to some treatment, so to the medicine, to the pills. It is again all this medical care. It is always about money, about how to sell some medicine. In another publication suggests that reduced intake of animal fat and simple carbohydrates with increased intake of polyunsaturated fatty acids in vegetable oils and complex carbohydrates is critical for improving psoriasis treatment outcomes. Absolutely wrong, absolutely wrong. But you see that medical care try to keep people sick and make money from this. Another publication, based on review of published data, concluded that a patient with psoriasis should eat a low-calorie Mediterranean diet containing fresh fruits and vegetables, rich blah blah blah. Omega, yeah, again, I tried it. This is how I got the psoriasis. So I was eating a lot of fruits, vegetables, and then these polyunsaturated fatty acids, and they recommend to avoid or reduce red meat, eggs, dairy products, alcohol. Absolutely opposite. Absolutely opposite. Okay, then again, I never trust medical professionals, and this is how I stay more or less healthy. If I have problem, I go to learn from literature and from science how it can develop, why it develops, and then I really can cure myself. Yeah. Because I am interested to be healthy, but doctors are interested to keep me sick and to suck money from me. Okay, then again, only one review in the literature you can look and click on it and read that diet, which is not exactly carnivore diet, but with more fish and meat mentioned, but it is concluded that there is no sufficient evidence of its use. Maybe it works, but probably not. So this is official medical position. You see, official medical physician. So no, nail psoriasis is, okay, we go next stage, because if you have psoriasis, then next stage is develops nail psoriasis. Nail psoriasis is still poorly understood disease. Of course, people don't want to understand it. And estimated 80–90% of patients with psoriasis have nail psoriasis. Again, it is just next stage. First, it is severity. It is some little problem with the scalp, and also with nails, maybe a little bit. Some little problems that you just change, which for experienced person will indicate that you have psoriasis, or some initial phases of psoriasis. You have to change the diet. But again, if you go in steps, then it comes to nail psoriasis also. And treating nail psoriasis is considered challenging, time-consuming due to the slow growth of the nail plate, and it is therefore often left untreated by doctors. Because if you have to treat it for a year or two, then again they just tell you, okay, you have to buy this medicine and use it always, and maybe it will help. And nail psoriasis is mainly treated with immune suppressant. It is awful. Again, it is awful. It is like making you sick just to cure this psoriasis, which can be cured very easy, relatively easy. And then this again, it makes you only sick. And again, I just give you warning: don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, don't do it. Okay, let's go to the nail psoriasis. This is how. Our finger and nail, we have nail plate, we have nail matrix which is produced in the nail, and we have nail bed, and it is connected to the nail plate. And the nail matrix is responsible for formation of nail plate. Okay, this is just some base. And when the matrix of the nail is affected by psoriatic inflammation, changes to the nail plate include pitting, crumbling, as well as white and red spots in the socket. Okay, let's go look. This is a pitting, okay? This is a pitting. I used to have it. I just was wondering what is wrong with my nails. There was no pain and not big problem, but there was such pits on the surface. Or later on, these areas you see darker areas, some spots, and here red spots. Okay, so let's go back. And the nail bed is responsible for the firm attachment of the nail plate, and psoriasis in the nail bed leads to hyperkeratosis. Hyperkeratosis, this is this explosive development of the keratinocytes, the cells which divide and produce a lot of also inflammation, and hemorrhages. Then it disrupts connection between the nail bed and the nail bed and nail plate, and detach a nail from the soft tissue. Okay, let's go look how it awfully looks. This is how it looks like. Detachment of the nail plate from nail bed, and you see it is just again it goes further. It goes further. Eventually, it goes to such level of the psoriasis. Okay. Okay, go back, and keratosis of the nail bed is associated with an increase in the thickness of the nail bed, and under this condition, dead cells accumulate under the nail plate, and the thickness of the nail increases the proportion. Okay, blah blah blah. But okay, look what is happening. You have accumulation of dead cells under your nail. And this is perfect conditions to get also the fungus, because fungus can sit in there and then develop, and then you have combination of psoriasis with nail fungus. And okay, and again, and also the nail change color. Mostly it is yellow, but sometimes gray. Okay, let's look at it. It looks awfully. You see the yellow. And here you see a formation of the skin around, and it's skin already damaged. And you have this nail which is thick, very thick, and under the nail you have many dead cells, and this perfect environment, as I said, for fungus or such situation. Or eventually the nail plate can just be detached completely. And next, arthritis develop also, it is also autoimmune disease, so you can have this. And if you think it is only for older people, it is not so. This is for kids. Kids nowadays develop psoriasis, and also even cancer. It all depends on the diet, what you give eat to the kids. They can even die from cancer. And again, instead of going to the reason, to go into the why kids have this disease, what do we have to change in the diet? Doctors just give you some medications and treatment against the cancer, and this is just suck your money. It's all about money, okay? Okay, the fungus on the feet affects up to 20% on the feet, not on the nail, but on the nail also. Affects up to 20% of world population, and the likelihood of developing fungus on the feet increases with age. But again, it is side effects of the psoriasis, I believe. The disease is more common among the elderly people. Fungal infection usually affects the feet and toes, not the arms and fingers. This is because when walking barefoot, the feet are more often in contact with fungus spores. Psoriasis, however, is not spread by contact, unlike fungal infection. But psoriasis is just first stage to damage your nail, to damage your skin. And unlike psoriasis, fungal infections do not cause the pits in the nail. Instead, nail change shape over time. They can become thin or thick and sometimes break. But again, what I would tell you, with astonishing persistence, again, it's just mind-boggling. It makes me crazy. The medical websites call causes of toenail psoriasis and toenail fungus. Again, is this how my father was treated? That he got toenail psoriasis. But they make analysis, they saw the fungus, and they say, oh yes, this is fungus. You have to use antifungal treatments, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. And in the internet you can find a lot of videos where these medical experts tell you how to treat fungus of the feet and nails. However, psoriasis and fungal infections they do not exclude each other. Again, it is just first stage. You have psoriasis, then next the fungus will develop. Of course, fungus is more common. Fungus of skin is more common, and such damage to the skin can be developed. Indeed, but it is easy to cure. You just make it wet with alcohol, and you will kill this fungus. And repeat it because to avoid that spores will come again and will produce this damage. Okay, in some difficult cases it looks like this. So skin is damaged. Skin mostly, again, it is skin. But what else? Here look, I used to have it. And this people say, this is fungus. This is not fungus, it is psoriasis. But of course, fungus will have enough of food in here and good vacation, and then the medical professionals say, this is fungus. They provide you some antifungal treatment, and it is never helps. I used to have it. Now it is all clean, all fine. My skin is perfect, almost perfect, because you have this skin which spots which were damaged by psoriasis. They look a little bit older than the rest of the skin. So again, but again, you can cure it. It's easy. This is again fungus, so it can develop sometimes, but again, it mostly together with psoriasis, or psoriasis is the first stage and you just don't know what develops. Everything in the diet. Again, about fungus, if you consume diet with a lot of carbohydrates, the fungus, any fungus like sugar in blood, sugar is preferable food for fungus. So if you keep this carbohydrates as a main source of your energy, then you can get the fungus. But also together with psoriasis, together it's okay. Okay, then the reason why mainstream medical care consider psoriasis to be an incurable chronic disease, because it is reluctance to consider the carnivore diet as a cure. Because it's, again, all the propaganda tell you that you have to eat more fruits, more vegetables. Maybe now it is the only change they do. They said you have to not drink sugary drinks, like, but you can zero, like the Pepsi Cola with zero sugar, but it is toxic. It is toxic again. It's also this aspartame, which is in this sugary drinks. It is damaging. It is damaging the epithelial layer. Yeah, well, so, and it is, again, why it is so corrupted, the science so very corrupted, because I'm a scientist myself. I know this how it works. So it is impossible to obtain funding for studies which would show the possibility of curing psoriasis with switching to the carnivore diet, because you cannot sell it. You cannot sell it. You sell some medications. You sell maybe some probiotics, but you can make money from this. But how can you make money if you show that just shifting to carnivore diet will cure you? Yeah, it's just impossible. And based on my own experience and the opinion of many carnivore diet enthusiasts, I can claim, again, I'm scientist, I claim, okay, it is hypothesis, you consider it is not my medical advice, like hypothesis, but it works. It works not only for me, for hundreds and hundreds and maybe thousands people who change the diet to carnivore diet. So the most effective diet is the so-called elimination diet, when all food excluded from the diet except for beef and salt. I suggest you watch the video on Michaela Peterson channel. Very good girl. This is her image. She is about 28, and she had suffered from severe autoimmune disorders since childhood, and arthritis mostly, including arthritis, and it came to the point that to the replacement of the hip joints with artificial ones, and only with, but it didn't cure, it didn't help, and only on the elimination diet the girl began to live and not suffer. She married, gave birth to a daughter, and now actively promoting this elimination diet. And another girl, very popular, Amber O'Hearn, you can read her book, and it has quite similar life story, how of awful suffering and sudden improvement when she changed to carnivore diet. Okay, there are yet doctors among the carnivore diet enthusiasts. Also, they literally can be counted on fingers of one hand. Because again, doctors are making money to keeping you sick. And but some doctors, like Paul Mason is from Australia. He works with athletes, with people who has to be healthy. So there is he is not interested to keep them sick. He has to show that the health and performances of the athletes are improving, and they pay money. So he works for special people, and he is interested to keep healthy people. So you can trust his opinion. He has a lot of videos in the YouTube. Just try to read. He is good professional, and he looks also great because he understands what to eat, how to eat. And Paul Saladina, another my favorite specialist, he has no license to use the carnivore diet, but he is writing books and gets some income from this. And also Ken Berry, he is a professional, but now he keeps a private business. And Liza Widerman, another special enthusiast. She for long, more than 11 years, she's on carnivore diet, and she just share her experience. But Official medical care professionals, they have an openly negative attitude to such diet. Openly negative. They call this diet enthusiasts self-proclaimed nutritionists and scammers. And it is impossible to obtain a medical license to use such a diet for treatment of the people. Imagine, they are interested to keep people sick. And it means, again, that advice on changing your diet is illegal. I'm not giving you this advice, and I'm not medical doctor. I just show my opinion, and it worked for me, worked for thousands and thousands of other people. It worked 100 years ago when people were consuming much more meat, especially beef. And but now we are at the point that beef can be prohibited at all. And doctors, again, can be understood. If people stick to carnivore diet, then the most chronic diseases will simply disappear. And with them, the income of doctors, the medical doctors and pharmaceutical companies will decrease. This is a business to keep people sick. And my own path to this diet was not easy, because to find this information was not easy at all. First I changed to carnivore diet, and I made many mistakes which led to muscle loss, because I didn't consume enough protein, and there were cramps in the muscles at night due to lack of magnesium and potassium, so supplementing was next stage, and also I got decreased metabolic rate. And only with a complete transition to complete elimination of plant-based food, I began to feel much better, more vigorous, and muscle mass began to increase, not to decrease. Okay, and I'm getting stronger every day. I'm swimming up to 2 hours in fins very intensively, and every next day I go with bicycle for an hour and a half, and and my endurance is improving. Pardon me. It is interesting to see how my preferences and tastes in food are changing in time. Again, I'm getting more healthy. And again, these cravings for some food, like for sugar and for some spices, is just getting away. Gradually, I gave up hot sauces and some spices and reduced consumption of coffee and tea. That is, I gradually and naturally, because I try to follow what my body wants. I go shopping, I look at food, and just try to think, would it be good to eat it? And then if I have some rejection and I don't feel well about food, I don't buy it. And what I buy meat, I buy fish, eggs, and mostly such food. And again, I save in time and money. So what is interesting, I save in money. Because if you consume fruits and vegetables, first you have to pay for the fruit and vegetables. It is time consuming to clean them. And again, especially with green vegetables, you are getting this bacteria to your guts. If you eat meat, then your acidity of your stomach juice is very high. And this high acidity of the stomach juice will kill every bacteria, every pathogen. Okay, then you get microflora healthy, unless you already damaged your stomach to some high degree, or like my father, he was taking baking soda to reduce this flux of again. But again, this is what medical doctors recommended him to do. So instead of taking baking soda, take this citric acid. Citric acid can help to improve the acidity of your juice, gastrical juice. And again, you have to use the citric acid best. You can use some acetic acid probably, but acetic acid not so nice, and citric acid is so easy, really. It helps to. I have a video on citric acid, so you can watch it, about this weak organic acids. And again, maybe I take too much pepper. Long pepper and normal pepper and black pepper, so I consume it a lot with fish. I made this fish and the marinade with a lot of pepper, but I feel not so nice because I have some stomach discomfort during intense physical activity. When you go for 1.5 hours or 2 hours, then eventually you have this release of these spices in your guts, and not in guts but in your stomach, and feeling not so nice. So it's again better to, if I don't take this spicy food before the exercises, I feel great, I feel good. And then again, the only way to completely recover from chronic tissue inflammation and autoimmune disorders, it is to follow carnivore diet and even elimination diet. Even if your situation is very hard, then switch to elimination diet. Beef, grass grown and grass finished beef, the best. Also with beef liver, best. And even beef and salt, nothing more. This is elimination diet. This is the best. However, even in this case, you need time and patience because you have to heal it, and then you have accumulation of this gluten and other proteins in your body, and then you cannot cure it in overnight. It takes time, but it works. Okay, and also my diet a little bit different from what other people use because it's personal. Again, everybody should find the best diet for himself or herself. And particularly I use raw starch. As I said, it is good replacement of the soluble starch. And in some limited quantities I take alcohol, honey and mushrooms. So some people who keep elimination diet, they stay away from alcohol, honey and mushrooms. In my case, alcohol I take because I produce this tincture with enzymes, and then I think it helps. It really helps to reduce blood pressure and to clean the blood vessels. I believe it works. So alcohol is just part of my routine. So I drink maybe 50 milligrams of this tincture every night. And honey also, I make tincture with honey, with these enzymes and honey. I take honey, yes. I keep bees and I have maybe a lot of honey, and people now in Thailand so very poor, they don't buy honey because honey is relatively expensive. Instead they take sugar. Mushrooms, I used to grow mushrooms. It was the best case. Mushrooms and eggs also I was keeping away in hens. And my quality of the eggs from these hens was absolutely perfect. Everybody told me, "Oh, you look so good. You look so good." I said, "Yeah, this is because of the diet." Mushrooms have kind of substances which make you younger. It is not only lubrication of your stomach, but also it has some substances which help you to look younger and to rejuvenate your body. So I would highly recommend, if you can, to consume mushrooms. Okay, then what else? But in difference from this carnivore enthusiasts, they mostly consume fried or baked meat and fish. I think, I'm already too old for this. But I boil stew, pickled dishes. I use pickled dishes. I pickle. I use marinade to pickle the fish and eat a lot of fish. And I'm trying to reduce amount of animal fat while increasing the proportion of animal protein. Protein in the old age, it is absolutely necessary. The more protein you take, the better. And then again, I take some supplements like berberine, quercetin, and vitamins, electrolytes, and senostatic, senolytics. And I expressed already my opinion that without senolytics you cannot get rejuvenation. So again, if you keep healthy diet, you can heal your body, you can improve your health, you can feel great. But the aging goes its own way. To rejuvenate your body, this new findings, new development should be used. That is senolytics, senostatics. Okay, then again, if somebody eats fruits, vegetables, grains and plants, it's no problem for me, no problem. That just don't force me to eat it. And don't prohibit raising domesticated birds and animals for eggs, dairy product, and meat. This is what we need. This one we need for health. But now I hear that the meat should be prohibited. Instead, we have to eat insects, or we have to eat laboratory-grown meat, which is absolutely or plant-based protein from plant-based meat. It is not healthy. Okay, it's not healthy. This is why I moved to Thailand, to avoid these regulations in Western countries. And I myself will raise chicken, ducks, and geese. As I did it already. It's fun. It's not taking much time. And you have these animals around, birds around, and dogs. It is great life. This is why I moved here. So recently, I mean, last 2 years it didn't go well with my family. I have some problem, but yet again I'm quite optimistic about future. I will be okay, and if necessary I will keep goats and pigs as my grandparents did. So I need meat, and I buy meat, and not only chicken meat but also that's from other animals. Again, I am highly resistant to injection with experimental substances to genetically to modify genetically my body. These substances are not vaccine. Okay, I am okay with vaccine from poliomyelitis or whatever, measles, whatever. Yeah, which were developed long ago, and there were dozens of years to check it. But now we have the side effects and deaths from these injections, and more deaths. In 1 year we got more dead people from injections than 30 years from all these vaccinations which were practiced before. 30 years that gave less side effects with vaccines, with true vaccines. But this experimental stuff, it is not vaccine. Okay, it is not vaccine. So just don't do experiments on me, okay? It is against the Nuremberg Code. It was prohibited, it was forbidden, and only if somebody agreed to participate in the experiment, it is okay. I myself do experiments with senolytics. I'm very careful. I'm reading and try to understand what will work. I try, and if I have some side effects, I stop it. And try to another substances, because, as I said, senolytics are absolutely important for rejuvenation. Okay, then again, even if I consider that IQ of humans drops, and there is a big problem that so many people with low IQ, and they will have no place in future with the development of automation, computerization, and robotization. But yet again, I am against the methods of depopulation offered by self-proclaimed experts like Bill Gates, Klaus Schwab, and other representatives of so-called elite. Then it is again, I believe that it should not be so. It should be natural way, but just reduce taxes and make people to decide for themselves what they want. So, and then don't prohibit anything. Reduce taxes, and that's free opinion and free, not free food, but free opinion and free expression of your mind, as it should be. I'm a scientist myself. Again, don't tell me that it is science proving this or that. Science is in free discussion. It's base of the science. Discuss, to see, to check. If you claim that vaccine works, okay, it has to be tested. It has to be tested first on animals, and only in 5-10 years or longer it can be used for humans. Not now. And again, it doesn't help. People who were so-called injected, they get this flu, and it's dangerous. And again, dangerous. So many people just got die, and got so severe side effects. Again, okay, it is not related to autoimmune disease, but in part it is related, because autoimmune diseases, if you have some foreign proteins, And these injections, they inject you some substances like RNA, and this RNA produces foreign protein in your body. Then your immune system are overexcited and try to eliminate these proteins, and you have inflammation, you have blood clots and blood clogging, and you have other swelling of your lungs, because your immune system want to protect you from these foreign proteins. It is the same reason, but in this case, injection go directly to your bloodstream, not from your stomach. Stomach can be protected with proper diet, with high acidity of your gastrical juice, but if it is injected directly to bloodstream, you cannot protect, you cannot stop it. Then you get these proteins produced in your body, and then inflammation, and you have all these autoimmune diseases. This is how you should avoid it. Okay? Don't inject anything in your body, probably. Maybe vitamins, maybe some blood plasma. Change your blood plasma, how it is proposed recently to rejuvenate your body. This is okay. Cleaning of your, if you know what is injected, if it is only albumin and some proteins which are safe and which are normally we have in our blood, it is okay. It is okay. I am not again I'm not anti-vax. I am against the experiments on humans. Okay, give us. We have free will. We have this right to decide for ourselves what to do, what to eat, and how to live our life. Okay, then again, but again, it is just educational purpose. If I use some pictures, you can click, you can download presentation, click on the picture, you will get, or you will open this picture in your browser. You can see the source. So as I have no benefits from this, then I'm not violating the patent law regulations, and since I'm not medical doctor, I'm not giving recommendation, just express my opinion, but I'm doctor in physics. Remember, I'm professional scientist. I can have my personal opinion, okay? And this is very much different from official position of medical doctors, because I'm interested in my own health. If I share my experience, okay, you are free to follow or to do whatever you want with your body, okay, it's just so. And if it was patent enough, because every time I try to make video short, but it's never happened. But in future, probably I will make it much shorter, and because almost all problems which is related to rejuvenation and health, I covered in my videos. It is quite clear what to do. There are some details and which can be discussed, but again, yeah. Try to follow me, and if you are interested, and comment, subscribe, put likes, ask questions, and share information. Have a wonderful day. Stay healthy.